start recording. Dankeschön. I'm gonna share my okay, a minute. Share my screen with you. You can see it, right? All right, guys. So I'm going to be presenting, but Erol is here also to support. So if you send things on the chat, if you need to ask something, you can send it on the chat. It's no problem at all. We're gonna be watching it. So welcome all of you to our first webinar from the series, First Steps to Succeed in Germany. This first one, we're gonna have other 3 following this. So on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Sundays from October, it's supposed to be a good month for you that are starting your journeys here in the country. We wish we are really willing to help you on this challenging times. Maybe we know I've been through it. I don't know how much we all have been through it, but I hope at some point, yes, you will be able to talk about this. But this specific webinar, it's about explaining a bit about Diggies, who we are, what we're doing here, talk a bit about the buddy program intro. And I know that a few of you might not be in the buddy program. You might have reached us through other means like Instagram or Facebook, Eventbrite or anything. So we're gonna pass through it very quickly, and we're not gonna take much of your time on this, but it's important for those who joined this webinar through the buddy program. And it's good that you get to know a bit about it too. But then we're gonna go through this very special content we prepared for you. That is the do's and don'ts with Germany. And then we thought, okay, many people register here, so let's bring something else. We're gonna pass through some very important stuff you have to pay attention to when arriving in Germany, starting your journey here, flat searching, Anmeldung, and this kind of things. So you can start getting ready and prepared to have a very smooth start as much as possible. So yes, thank you for being here. My name is Carolina. You can all call me Caro. I'm from Diggies national team. And I have here with me Erol, who is also from the national team. I think Jonathan is here. Jonathan is here too, watching us. He's also from the national team, but who more like not that active as much Erol and I. As you can read on my name, I come from Brazil. I arrived in Germany a year ago, a little bit longer, but in August from 2020. So end of summer, beginning of lockdown, very challenging times here in Germany. I came for my master's. I'm finishing a master's in public administration in Berlin. So I've been through many of the things that you are living right now. And I hope I can share a bit of my gained wisdom with us. Erol, do you want to talk about yourself a bit?
Yes, I can do. So, hey, also hello from my side. Happy to see all you guys here with us. My name is Erol. I'm studying in Berlin at the Hochschule für Technologie und Wirtschaft, Business Administration. And yeah, I'm back in Germany because I'm half German, half Turkish. I was born here in Germany, in Esslingen, as some people are there. And then I went to Turkey, went there to the school. And after I finished my school, I came back to study here in Germany. Yeah, I'm since 2015 back here. So I hope you accept me as a somewhat international student among us. And yeah, happy to be with you guys. So back to Caro.
Thanks, Erol. So this is the proposed agenda for the day. We're gonna do like this quick round of getting to know each other because we are a very diverse group. I think there are many connections to be forged among us here. And then we're gonna explain you a bit about Diggies, the buddy program. Then we're gonna go for our amazing prepared content, do's and don'ts, and then the quick guide to Anmeldung. So first, I want to ask you to quickly write into the chat, just for a quick check. You can write first, which country are you from, please? Gonna open here. So we have people from Brazil. Hi, Cynthia, welcome. India, Turkey, Taiwan, Ghana, Indians. By the way, I lived in India for a year, so we can talk about this as well another time. So more from Taiwan, Turkey. Cool. Nice, nice. Now type for us, in which city do you live or will you live here, so we can situate ourselves. So for example, I live in Berlin. There's half people here: Bonn, Berlin, Munich, Frankfurt, Nuremberg, Darmstadt, Munich, Dresden, Freising. Oh, you're all over, guys. That's cool. And what do you or will you study? This is interesting because we get to know about these very different courses in the most like diverse universities: global management, economics, brand management, finance, engineering, mechatronics, robotics, environmental engineering, sustainable management, cool, astrophysics, cool. Fine arts, amazing. I told you I studied public administration. I don't know if there's anyone there. I know that Cynthia studies public management. We know each other from university, from previous life in Brazil. Computational sciences and engineering, project management. Oh, we have a very multi intellectual place here, and share about many things and learn from each other. That's very cool. And then finally, what is your expectation about living in Germany? I know maybe you have thought about this, but maybe you haven't, but I don't know, make it spontaneously here. What do you expect about this experience? In one word or two or three, I don't know. Just type it there, open your heart for us.
Yeah, one word is maybe difficult, one short sentence if you...
Yeah. Expect it to be hard. A new beginning for Chitan. That's cool. Beginning. Good job and career. Permanent residence. Okay, so some people already have an objective. Cool. Explore, meet new people. People, learn German, get a nice job. International exposure. Cool. Learning more about people from all corners of the globe. Exploring Alps. A new career. Learn about culture. Get a good job. Pass all courses. That's a very important goal in university, right? So many people want to learn about culture. Many people want to build a career. That's cool. Travel, learn German. Quite a challenging task, but possible, guys. Just believe in it and put effort in it. Cool. Then, nice. It was awesome to get to know about you. So we are just doing a very quick round of breakout rooms because then you can explore, get to know each other better. These are a few questions we're gonna ask you to answer between yourselves. We're gonna just randomly. Errol, can you do this? Just how many are they here, and just separate them randomly in breakout rooms? How many are they?
I made like
Okay.
5 rooms. That should be.
Yeah. So just take a screenshot of this questions, and then we're gonna give you like 5 minutes to share between yourselves.
I think Mika also joined, or we have a different Mika from Belarus joining us. I'm not sure. Sent him in a room anyway.
Mangesh and Abhishek, are you in a group? Okay, Mangesh did check. Okay.
Okay,
Now we have
perfect. Around 5 minutes should be fine, right?
Can you just pause the recording?
Yes.
Then you resume it. Resume. Thank you. So we have time for a round of sharing. If anyone wants to tell us how was this experience to connect to until now completely unknowns, but they're somehow sharing similar experience. Does anyone want to talk about it? Just open your mic and spontaneously, you can talk like spontaneously.
Okay, so let me break the ice over here, Carolina. So, good afternoon to everyone, and good evening back in India, or good afternoon or good evening wherever people are. So, my name is Mangesh. I'm 33 years old. I'm basically from India. I'm from Mumbai. I have just landed in Kempton a month ago. I'm studying in Punctual, Kempton. I'm doing my PhD thesis in International Business Management and Studies. So overall, chatting with the other group was quite interesting. People have a lot many questions, a lot of things to be answered, needs to be taken up, and I think it's some for them. Some of them it's a dream come true. People have very basic to very technical and high end question also. So I think I might be not be the right person. So you guys can take it up, and I look forward for this program as well. So looking forward for a lot of connections and new opportunities, meet new friends, and from all over the world.
Nice. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing. Errol, you want to say something?
Oh, not really, but anybody else wants to share something? Maybe a like funny story about coming to Germany?
Want to say something?
Yes. Hi, I'm Shantan. I'm currently I'm from India, and I just arrived yesterday at first at Frankfurt airport, then at Bonn. And to be honest, it was one hell of a ride, traveling in train with at least 5 luggage. Like, I was completely shocked, like how people are going without just one luggage, and I am there with 5 luggage. How do I stop the door? Like, it was all automatic. In my own country, there was no like sliding automatic doors. So it was a completely new experience, and also people were very helpful and kind. Germans are really very kind. Like, it is rare to see such kindness through strangers especially. And talking about me, I am here to study masters in economics, and I just want to have an international exposure to know a different culture that is different from mine, and to understand how things work in a different country, and how do I accommodate myself in order with the changes taking place around me, to know my capabilities more better. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to comment that yeah, you're gonna have lots of cultural shocks at every experience. It's a very unique country in many ways. And you're gonna keep, I can tell you, I'm here for more than a year and I keep having questions. I keep having, okay, but how does it work? And then learning every day from the experiences. We are gonna try answer the first doubts we imagine you might have because we've been through this, but still just like being peace to yourself that you're gonna keep asking questions every day and you're gonna keep learning from them. Chitan, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I just wanted to share my experience about it. So, continuing to the Satan's point regarding the exposure to different cultures. So, one of the cultural shock for me was regarding the traffic priorities, like while we are crossing the roads. So, the cars which are zooming past almost 50, 60 kilometers or 40, 50 miles per hour, they just stop and they allow you to cross the street. So that is a completely different for me, because over at my place back there, the pedestrians are at the lowest priority. Like you are supposed to find your own way. You just need to place like a subway surfer, just dash around, find a way and then cross the street. But this was completely new thing. So initially while I was there, I used to just stop at the roads and wait for the cars to pass, but even they were stopping, I was stopping. So ultimately someone just took their head out and he was like, just cross the street, just go, we are waiting for you. So it's taking time to get used to that culture as of yet. So that's something new. At the rest, all the points the previous guy covered it. So yeah, pretty good experience and different things. So looking forward to such things more.
At least it's, yeah, I think there are some good adaptations that we learn how to do here in Germany, how to be safer and this kind of, they really take this into consideration. And guys, we're following, like we're gonna have more spaces to share. Thank you so much for those who shared, I think, very relatable experiences for a few of us. I saw myself in a few of them. But we're gonna quickly explain Diggies, because maybe you bumped into this organization and you haven't understand quietly why, what it's about. So I'm gonna explain it to you. So this Diggies has this huge German name that I can translate it to German Association of International Students. And it aims to be the largest international students association in the country. And right now I can tell you that it was founded in 2019. So started as a very good idea with a huge potential. And then the pandemic came, and you can imagine that 2020 wasn't a very easy year for us who wanted to build a community. But then we are back on track and we're stronger than ever. And right now we have the headquarters here in Berlin. I'm part of it. Erol is part of it too. But we have 35 city chapters all around Germany. There are like local offices, local communities. There might be one per city. If not, it's an opportunity also to open one. And right now we have more than 15,000 online members in our communities, like following us on Instagram, being part of one of our national-wide groups on Facebook, helping each other. And we count on more than 100 volunteers working in our city chapters and making it happen every day. And as I told you, our main office is in Berlin. Whoever is in Berlin, make a visit, have a beer with us. We are around. Beyond, we also have a city beyond the headquarters that stay here. And these are a few cities all the cities in which we actually have a chapter. So if you identify your city there, it means that you can join, you can get to know the chapter, the team that is gathering and building the community. And what does it mean to be a member of Diggies? In the end of the day, it's like, first of all, join a very cool team, have an experience, a team experience, work projects together, throw events together. You don't need to have previous experience. You have to have only motivation to do that. Actually, it's a very good start for building experience here. You, as a start, you can, if you have like 2-3 hours free per week to dedicate, it's enough. You have the chance to take over responsibility, learn new skills. Like if you, for example, you study law, but you want to learn about HR, you can. It's not mandatory that you just do things that you're trained to. You can actually train yourself on the job. You can gather leadership experience, get like leadership positions. You get to connect and support other international students. And you also get access to a certificate for volunteer engagement. And for those who are willing to start a career here in Germany, it's nice for you to know that this is a very relevant thing, a very relevant asset to your CV, to your career. Recruiters really value volunteering experience. So yeah, if you want to be an active member, there's a way. This is a picture of the Berlin chapter. They threw a barbecue party last week. I think it was in Friedrichshain, right? Police Park. So they're very nice people, as you can see, very happy to be together. And if you want to join, you just need to register. Really could type just, oh, you're quick, guy. Okay, thanks. If you want to join, you just need to register through this link. Anyway, if you are in the buddy program already, the CCs, the city chapter, will get in touch with you because they will organize events. But you can also be part of the city chapters by joining the events. Just attend to events. You don't actually need to be active, but if you want to, it's a very cool experience, as I told you. But if your city doesn't have a city chapter, if your city wasn't on that list that I showed you, as I said, it's actually maybe a very cool opportunity for you to open a city chapter. If you're interested, also register on this, and we will reach you to have a quick chat about what it is about, how you can open a city chapter, what does it mean to open a city chapter. Okay, we're done about Diggies. I'm gonna quickly present the buddy program. Again, if you're not in the buddy program right now, it's gonna be as quick as we can, so we won't take much of time and go to our other content. But this is important. The first event from the series, and this is how this series actually started, from the buddy program. So for those who don't understand what a buddy program is, this is an initiative that many organizations do, most universities do, where they partner more experienced students to newcomers, so they can share experiences, they can be build a support system, and experience or potentialized. So we dreamed on building actually a German-wide initiative. We got to know that it wasn't a thing, like usually you get a buddy program within an university, within a community, and we wanted to build more nationwide, in which we could actually build a network and strengthen a network and build nice connections. And it's a pilot program, so it's first time we are running it, but it will happen pretty much like as we match local buddies, so students that are already established for at least 6 months in the cities to incoming students, and we're gonna do this based in, so we won't match people that are not in the same city, at least for this first time that we're doing this. Maybe we can review this criteria for next editions, but we're gonna start like this, and this program will last through the fall winter semester, so for the semester that is starting right now. And of course, that buddies don't need to not talk to each other after the semester. You can remain like friends and connected, but the support, official support, and how we're gonna follow up, it's gonna last only during this following semester. Yeah, we hope you get very connected and build nice experiences together. And for you to want to know, okay, but once in the buddy program, what kind of support can I get, like from my buddy? And this is what we agreed with the local buddies. You're gonna have like this initial meet and greet after you get matched, and it can be personal or online. It's upon agreement between the buddies. A few support on the first steps after arrival, so tips about the Anmeldung, tips about okay, where to buy cheapest groceries, where to eat, and something like this. Support with university web tools. If you go to the same university, we try to match as much as we can based on same university as well. And also campus tours, so you can get to know the best facilities and so on. City sightseeing, so get to know where you live, where are the best spots. And then, of course, monthly checkups, a final checkup after the semester, so you get to know where you got after the whole experience. Of course, it doesn't mean like you're not gonna talk to each other anymore, but it's nice to have some closure on the program itself. And then also, you're gonna have access to some local Diggies events if you have a city chapter. The city chapters will be in charge of throwing some nice activities for you, so you can get to know more people and get integrated as well in your experience. And then how we're gonna follow up with you. You're gonna get monthly reminders from Diggies. Okay, first month, what's supposed to happen this month, this and this. And then also in the end of each month, you're gonna get this monthly experience check form survey that we're gonna ask you to fill it. This is very, very important. So that's how we get to know if the local buddies are actually providing the support they're supposed to. So please fill the monthly experience check so we can guarantee that you're having a cool journey in Germany. Okay, I just want to pass through some very quick details, because whoever joined the buddy program actually had to sign up for this form. Kind of a long form, but actually important, because it makes everyone very, very protected on important topics. First of them is publicity. So we are a nonprofit organization, so we actually rely on our volunteers to make ourselves like known and to grow on social media. So we really kindly ask you to engage on this as well as much as you can, if you feel comfortable to, of course. So if you meet your buddy and then you take a picture together, tag us. We're gonna love to know that you're having a cool experience. Just tag Diggies Network. Feel free to follow us on Instagram as well. This is our account. And also you can post pictures using the hashtag City in Germany. This is very, very important for us, so we can grow the organization and bring more people that can also be supported through our programs. And other thing that is very important that you notice that had like this long session, you signed this anti-harassment, anti-discrimination policy. And it means that we want you to comply, of course, but we want you to be protected as well. So we really want you to know that this is a very important thing for us. We do not accept any situation of harassment or discrimination or abuse. So if you feel that you are a victim of this in any situation within the program, please let us know, because we want to have your back and help you deal with this. So this is our email. You already have access to it. Don't hesitate to talk to us. And also another thing that we wanted to tell you and reinforce is that the buddy program is 100% volunteer. So it doesn't include any monetary exchanges. So if anyone approaches you and tells you, okay, 15 euros for me to pick you up from the airport. No, don't do that. Then I said, like, and please report it to us because it's not supposed to happen. Okay, and then what's next for you that are on the buddy program? We are right now, in this very moment, going through the matching process. It all knows we're doing this non-stop every day to finish. We're putting as much effort as we can to find buddies to as many people as we can. So watch your emails. You're gonna be notified during this week about it. If you get a local buddy, we told you that we got so many applications. It was amazing, very almost overwhelming for us. So maybe we won't get local buddies for everyone. If you get a local buddy, you're gonna be connected to this person. If you don't find a local buddy, we have a few alternatives. You're gonna create some support systems. I'm gonna approach and tell you about this, so you can also not be alone in this first months of experience. But we are notifying on the following week, and after the match, you're gonna have this moment of expectation setting between buddies, to know that online, better in person. Already you can already raise in your mind what are your challenges, so you can share with your buddies. And most of get more than most of local buddies get more than one. So if it's the case, just for you to know that you're gonna be supported in groups, which is cool actually, because you get to connect to other people as well that are living the same experience you are right now. And as I told you, city chapters way for events. So we prepare to that too. It's gonna be super cool. Okay, before we move to the content, this was what I had to talk about Diggies and buddy program. Does anyone have any question or any suggestion also? As I told you, this is the first time we run this program, so very challenging, and we are super open to suggestions as well. So if you have any question, just open your mic and we'll try to answer you. Chintan, you already raised your hand. You want to ask?
Yeah, so I don't really have a question, but more of a suggestion. Like on this group right now, like there are many people from different cities of Germany. So
Cool.
we already have our local groups and chapters, as you mentioned earlier. But would it be possible to help connect people from the same city? So if they are in the same city and maybe if they want to interact more and like just work together, like is it possible?
Yeah, I think it would be a cool thing to do. We were actually wondering what would be nice for helping you. We have some ideas, but listening from you, if this is something important, we could totally do this, I think. Like connecting people, incoming people from the same city. Cool, nice. Thank you for suggesting. Zayatan, you have anything? Sure.
Yeah, like I wanted to know the difference between the city chapters and local buddies. Like, how do I differentiate? And secondly, like, how can this program be implemented in those cities where the names are not there? Like, in case of Bonn, it was not in the list.
Okay, so the city chapters are part of Diggies, so they are just an extension, a local office from the organization. The buddy program is an initiative that we are running. It's not completely connected. It's an initiative that we are running nationally, actually. But as a buddy, a local buddy, you don't necessarily you're not actually, you don't need to be a part of Diggies. You can if you want to, but not necessarily. They are separate initiatives. The city chapters will only enter to support the experience from local buddies and incoming buddies. The program will run in every city, even if we don't have city chapters, as long as we can match buddies. But where in the cities that have city chapters, they will get the chance to connect to the city chapters. In the cities that we don't have yet, this won't be a possibility, unfortunately, but what we're still looking for people to open city chapters in cities that weren't on that list. If you're interested, to be super cool, you just need to register and then we can talk about it. Like we'll reach you to talk about it. But the program will run in every city as long as we can find buddies to match. Anyone else? Okay, there's a question here in the chat. For someone who is not part of the buddy program, how can we best stay in touch with Diggies activities, events by local chapter? Cool, Manis. You can register on that link that I showed before, Diggies, bit.ly/Diggies network. Not only to become, if you want to become an active member, you can, but if you only want to join our Facebook group or only want to receive newsletters, you can do that as well. You can choose how you want to live this experience. But if you register as a member and there is a local chapter in your city, our city chapter, they will get in touch to you and invite you. So just register on that link I shared before. Okay, anyone else have any question or can we move on?
I can say quickly something. We also have a huge Facebook group. So if you want to connect Germany-wide with fellow international students, I will post the link in the chat. You can also join the Facebook group. It has, I think, around 3,000 people at the moment. So you can post there if you have questions generally. And also on Instagram, the city chapters have their own Instagram account. So if you search at Diggies_Berlin or Munich, you can find their own Instagram accounts. And then there you can follow their activities if they're having events or conferences or something like that. And you can stay with people in touch in that certain city.
Nice. Thanks for adding up. It all very nice. Okay, so I think we can move on with our special content that we prepared. We hope to share a few of our gain wisdom. And I'll actually ask you to contribute if you had already learned something that you want to share here. It's gonna be, I'm gonna talk about some learnings, but of course, that as I mentioned, we're learning about new things every day here in Germany. Very interesting habits people have over here. They're sometimes different, sometimes not different from what we're used to. But a few, these are what I'm gonna bring are a few things that I think are most relevant for you to start surviving well here in this country. And of course, it might change from city to city. So if you feel, okay, my city, it's a bit different, please raise your hand and contribute because it would be actually very nice to know. Okay, so first thing I want to tell you about Germany is that it's really important to respect the rules. So you were talking about traffic, crossing the lane, and it's not only about this. In general, rules are taken very seriously here in this country, and of course they should, like anywhere. But and I say that it's serious is really serious. So for those who are in Berlin, you already know this fellow gentleman here. It's called Empelman. He's actually part of the city culture there. So there are merch about him. If I don't know if it's like in city center, you can find like stores selling things about this guy. But at the first, for example, in Bonn, I know that instead of the Empelman on the traffic lights, there's Beethoven face because where Beethoven was born. So, but still, it doesn't change the fact that if you don't wait for the sign to be green to cross, and if you do this in front of kids, you're gonna be shouted at, like people are getting a bit angry, and you can actually get a fine if you get caught on time. This is one of the examples. Another example, if you have other examples to add up, please do. But when you take the public transportation, no one will check, like when you enter the metro or the bus, if you have a ticket, but you're supposed to have it. And then eventually some guy will come in and ask you to show your ticket or show that you are allowed to take the bus or something. So you're not expected, like you're not prevented to enter the public transportation if you don't have one, but they expect you to comply to the rule and also always have a ticket or always have a semester ticket if you're a student from university. So don't try to get buses or metros without having a proper ticket, or you're gonna get a 60-euro fine. It's not cool. And you're gonna be kicked out of the transportation as well. They're gonna do this to you because they, in general, they really take this, like this kind of rules as important things for the whole community and whole society to properly work. I don't know if anyone have any experience on this about respecting the rules and things that are like very strict here in this way. If you have, you can just share.
I can maybe shortly say something regarding especially at the beginning of each term, they are strictly or more often making controls in like the subway or in the buses. So be careful to have your valid student ID and the public transportation ticket. And I know that in some cities, like the semester fees cover the complete transportation fee, especially in Berlin, it was like that. But in Munich, you had to buy another extra ticket on top of your semester fee. So check the local rules about the public transportation for students so that you don't end up having to pay, I think 60 euro is the fine for getting caught if you're traveling black. So that's, be careful and apply the rules. Yeah, that's
Yes.
essential.
Cool, thank you, Rol. Another thing that it's part of actually German culture is recycling, upcycling, being sustainable. This is something that has got me actually very positively surprised, because I do think there are very effective measures that have been taken here, and it's part of the culture of the country. But this is a huge concern for the environmental crisis, climate change. It's a huge concern to Germans, so they really take this into consideration. So most places, most buildings have like this different colors waste bins, so you have to separate your trash and take some time to learn about this, because so just to avoid some kind of, I don't know, discussion with neighbors, because they really want you to respect that. So learn, okay, there's a bin only for organic waste, and there's a bin for plastic, a bin for paper, there's a special bin for transparent glass, and then one for green glass, I think, bunt glass. And then it's good because you learn new words too, because there are words that you never think of using, and then you learn because of doing your trash separation, and it helps a lot the environment. And another thing about this, I put this picture. Do you know what is this? What kind of machines are this? Can you tell me?
Yeah, I just had an experience with these machines 2 days earlier at the Aldi store.
Cool.
So even that was a new concept. So when I first purchased the bottles, I was charged additional money, like some 0.25 euro or 25 cents. So I asked them about it, and they told me that once you are done with the contents, then if you return those bottles back to it, you get your deposit back. And those bottles gets recycled.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, this was a very effective measure in Germany to reduce waste. So basically, when you get, it's called fun, when you get a drink or anything that comes in a bottle made of glass or plastic, you actually pay for the bottle, and then you can return the bottle to these machines, and then you can get cash back. That's the thing. You're not like earning money or anything. You're just getting things that you already paid, but you have this feeling, okay, I'm getting money back, and you can use it to usually it stays in supermarkets, so you can use like this coupon to make like groceries or something, or you can just go to the cashier and get the money back. Not like a lot, but for example, if you spend 1 month like just gathering bottles at home, especially if you shouldn't, and you like to have some beers, and then you can get actually a quite decent amount at the end of the month. So it's something cool. Like, so don't put your bottles away, or if you do, there's other things like always put them in places that people can get, because there are people that actually go on the streets and gather bottles and to exchange for money if you don't want your bottles. But it's a good thing to keep them and not lose money. Yeah. Another tip. This might not be very actually surprising for some. For example, I told you that I lived in India, and this was already like an habit there that people used to have. But where I come from Brazil, and we don't usually take our shoes off when we enter houses. It's not that common. So, but this is a thing here in Berlin and Germany in general. So take off your shoes when entering a home. Don't assume that you don't need to. Usually you're gonna see that there's a rack where shoes are at, or some shoes in the entrance, and then you can take off your shoes and put them there. This is a sign of respect for people's houses and to keep the streets dirt out of their houses. It's cool to consider that. And in this picture, I put this it's a very common image if you come to Germany. I'm not gonna say the name of the brand, maybe I can't, but these are very common shoes in Germany. I don't know if you know that. And this is a very common thing that I started seeing, like people wearing socks with this kind of shoes. And it's actually very comfy. And of course they use it out of home too, but many people use this kind of shoes inside home, and sometimes they will even offer you, okay, if you go to visit them, you want some house shoes, and then you're gonna get some comfy shoes like this, wear socks, and have a comfy experience. So yeah, just take this into consideration. It might sound silly, but it's a good start if you're first visiting someone in Germany. It's a good thing to know. And then one thing that is actually one of the most German stereotypes ever, but it's 100% true, in my opinion. So always be punctual. This is something that I had, like, I wasn't always a very punctual person. I was always like, okay, 1 minute, 2 minutes late, it's fine. But actually punctual is punctual, it's on time. Even better if a few minutes earlier. And this is a sign of respect for most of Germans, not only Germans, but people that are living the German life. So take this into consideration, take into consideration that there's traffic, so always leave early to get there on time, or get a few minutes before. Or if you're having like online meeting, try to join earlier too. Consider that, okay, you have to turn on your laptop and then open Zoom. It might take a few minutes, so do it in advance so you can start in time and have some respect and consideration for the people's time. So punctuality is something very, very important in German culture in general. And yeah, another very, very important thing. I don't know if you already experienced this, and it was quite a shock for me. Know for yourselves, because back in my home country, I didn't used to carry cash with, like, only card, and it would be accepted like in every single corner. But there's a general resistance still in Germany to credit card and debit card. So of course, you're gonna be able to use it in supermarkets and big places. But for example, in many restaurants, they don't take cards. You have to have cash, especially when you're going to small places as well. So always have cash with yourself. always consider that this is important. You don't have to care, of course, carry 100 euros around, but have changed. And also consider that the coins are important too. So keep the coins, they're also money, and they might make a difference too in the end, because many things are just like cheap and you can pay coins too. So carrying cash is kind of important in Germany. I don't know, do you have any experience, any of the things that I described so far that you want to share? No.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Yeah. You want me to share?
Yeah, if you want to, of course.
Yeah. So it was just regarding this always carry your cash thing. So the other day I went to this laundromats to get my clothes cleaned. So once I reached there, I was under an impression that, okay, I have a card with me and it will be okay since it's a big place. But once I reached there after walking with the dirty clothes for 10 to 15 minutes, and when I reached that place, all I could say in this machine was there was no people there. It was a completely automatic laundromats, like you were supposed to just put in the coins and start the machine automatically. So no store supervisor or something. So over there, it was like the card thing was not working. There were possibility to only pay through coins or the currency notes. So I didn't have enough cash with me. I was short of some like just 50 cents or something, but just because of that, I was in a position to use it. So I had to go all the way back and get cash with me again and again come back to the place. So it almost wasted like an hour for me to just get the carry cash and come back. So yeah, I know what you're talking.
Yeah, it happened like many times with me until I got used to it. And then that's the learning. Like I always carry cash. Like this other day I went to the movie theaters, and they wouldn't accept card. Only this very specific German card, EC they call it, and it doesn't make you won't have it. I wouldn't have it. So in case, just in case, always carry cash with yourself. And one good thing is that even if you have like big bills, most of the time they will give you change, because that's it. If you only can pay in cash, they need to give you change, and it won't be like, okay, you're giving me a 50 euro bill for a 10-euro thing. Okay, you're paying it, so don't worry about this as well. Yeah, and then I think the last, no, almost last tip, it's something very important, is a bit of general. It doesn't apply to every case, but it's something nice to know. In doubt, keep it formal, especially if you're in a business context, if you're dealing with older people that you don't know, or you're in an academic context, you're dealing with professors or people higher in administration. I don't know how many of you are already studying German, because there's this like two pronouns that you use. So in German, you have the du, that is you, and then you have sie, that you use it for more formal situations. So if you're speaking German, you have to do this differentiation, but the concept itself is that if you don't know the person, if it's a person that it's more like formal, avoid to use its personal name, like use the last name, use like Frau or Herr to address them, because this is something kind of important. Of course, for example, we are here in a very informal environment. It's not needed. If you're among friends or among people from your own age, maybe it won't be necessary, but in this kind of contexts, maybe it makes a difference, and they will look at you differently if you don't take this into consideration. So these are important tips also to deal with people in general. And then last tip that I wanted to bring to you, and I'm sorry if I bring this image here, but I think it's important to the context. I think we are all very widely known about the history of Germany, political history of Germany, and how it was built. And this is something very, very important to this country. And actually, it's something that I most admire about Germany is how they don't forget about their past. It's how they, the country actually wants to learn from it. And it's very important for us that come to here to understand it, how they deal with it, and that they absolutely take no jokes on it. So we have to respect this as well. And I know if you follow news, maybe you heard, okay, but there are people that are actually raising some weird ideas about fascism. Yeah, but these are a minority. Thank God it's a minority. In general, this is something very sensitive, and it has a reason for it. They were deeply affected. The country was rebuilt based on this experience, and we have to have deep respect for that. So yeah, just I know that many of us also come from countries that were built on very conflicted contexts, and just let's put ourselves on their places. It was very painful for many people, so we can do like jokes on this. So be respectful on this kind of matters. And that was the last tip that I had to bring for you. Like, just for a start, as I told you, there are many things to learn every day. And I was wondering if you already had other learnings besides these ones that I brought to share with your colleagues about do's and don'ts in Germany. So what never to do, what you've done that's okay, maybe I shouldn't have done this, or what you've done that you said, okay, it works, let's have this as a habit, and would help your colleagues to adapt better to this experience. Do you have anything else to share? No. Yes, no. All right. We're gonna share this material with you later. All have your contacts, so you can go through it. There are many other things, as I told you, but I think these were the main ones. Like, so have a sustainable thought, kind of mindset, understand the political context, follow the rules, and have this sensitiveness while dealing with each other and treating people with respect, while visiting them or dealing with them in business context or academic context. So these are, I think, the main factors for you to have a smooth start. Okay, so as no one else has anything else to add up,
I think Chintan has a question.
the question was if you have any other tip or learning from do's and don'ts in Germany that you would like to share with your colleagues here. No?
No, I have a query actually. Is this a good time, or do we still have other contents?
Yeah, no, go ahead. You can. We're gonna pass through the seat guide, which is question guide, very quickly, but you can share.
Yeah, actually, so it was regarding the political context that we just discussed a while ago. So this question is especially coming from India. So the swastik symbol is actually a auspicious symbol for our Indian households majorly. So, and it is particularly used in festivals and other occasions, and overall it's just a good symbol in culturally speaking. So how do we go about that in our, like, suppose if I want to use it somewhere, so how do I prevent the hostility towards it, or like considering the its political references in Germany. So
Yeah, this is very, very challenging, I guess. Because this is one thing that I can tell you what you can try to do, but I cannot prevent that people will react in a certain way. People get this, what you say. I get it because I went to India. I know what you mean. Like on every door, you can find a symbol like this, and this is part of the culture. But I can't assure you that they will get it here. What I mean is that don't treat it like it's a joke, but you're not. You're already telling me this is not a joke. This is something important for me. It's part of my culture, my religion. And then I think information is the key to everything. You're not making a joke, and then you can try to let people know why you're doing this, because you're not like praising a dark past of Germany. You're talking about your own culture here, and that's something very different. So as I told you, I can tell you that it will prevent hostility in general because people react how they react. But this is how you can try if this is important for sure.
okay, all right.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. Very important.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's actually even forbidden to use the symbol in Germany. So it's a bit a sensitive topic. So, I mean, I would be very carefully. I mean, I can imagine that it has a different value for you, but here in Germany, unfortunately, because of the history, it has a very bad reputation. So I would be sensitive and careful about it.
Yeah, for
Using
sure.
it.
I'm not 100% sure because I don't belong to the Indian community, but this might be a discussion already. And that's one thing you can try to do, like to try to connect to people that are more familiar with this and already discussing this, and get to know if how they're doing it, how does it happen. But yeah, there's this thing that Errol told you that it's actually forbidden, like by law. So complicated. Mangesh, you want to say something? You raise your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to add regarding the same as Chintan rightly pointed out, because back in India we have a culture, but over here, when you talk about such a sensitive and a political issue, I would just say to my Indian colleagues that do not talk it about publicly, specifically for they have is the sign that we are specifically talking about and the Hitlers, because back in my country, it has been known as a very good leader, but over here, you cannot be politically correct and it might create you in trouble. So just focus on the agenda that you have come from, and slowly and thingsly, once you are settled, maybe by the years down the line, you can open up, but very in a limited or very with your close friend, not in a public forum. I would say that because it's a completely a cultural diversification. What might work in India might not work in Germany, and what might work in Germany might not work in Brazil or Turkey or Asia. So just be like water, just adapt the culture and just go with the flow. I would say that.
True, very true, Mangesh. Thank you so much for sharing. It's a very, very important point. Okay, anyone else want to make a contribution, or can we follow with our quick guide here now? Okay, let's go. Let's move forward then. This might be super useful for those who are just arriving, and for others maybe you had already been through the process. You can actually help us to give more tips on this, because if you're here longer than 2 weeks, most probably you already started this process. But if you had just arrived, you're just in the eye of the hurricane, and most probably we are already getting ready to get your city registration. For those who don't understand the city, when I say city registration, I mean Anmeldung. Anmeldung is the word for what you say. You're gonna hear it a lot, but like the translation would be that city registration. And then I put like this picture of this guy with lots of files, and a bit bored but a bit concerned, because this is how we feel sometimes when we deal with, okay, I have to get my bank statements and all those documents that I've never heard of before. But it's manageable, guys. There's a way to pass through it, and you're all gonna survive if you're patient enough and follow the right steps for it. So the first thing, actually, before even thinking on going on with your city registration, is actually finding where to live. That's the first thing you have to worry about once you get to Germany, because this is gonna define everything you need to do afterwards. So without having, because you need to do the city registration, you have to register where you live. You have to have a residence for that. And then after you do your city registration, you can do whatever you need in order to actually settle life in Germany. So first thing is to find where to live. I don't know where you are in the stage, if you already found where to live, if you're still looking for. And this is something that can be quite challenging. For example, at least here in Berlin, is such a nightmare sometimes because you don't know where to look. Sometimes things are too expensive or too picky and lots of barriers over this. But I heard that in other cities like Cologne is super hard to Munich sometimes. So we know that this can be quite challenging and can be very time consuming. So a few tips we have for you, like, as I said, like without an address, you can go on with your city registration. These are a few tips for you to look for flats. Like, there are specialized portals. These are a few of them. You can do, for example, I found my flat in WG Gesucht, which was very hard. So, but still, like, put some effort on this. They can be safer actually to look for flats for students specifically. These ones are specialized in students, but many people also find their flats in Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, letting people know that you're searching for, so they can let other people know that if they have like available flats, you're looking for something, or if someone is looking for a flatmate. So just go out there and let people know. And these are a few things for you to pay attention to. Like, you might have a budget, so see if what the offered flat, if you find something that fits you, is actually including all facilities like energy bill, water, gas, something like this. And if it does, it's gonna be written like warm. If not, it's gonna be kalt, because it's like warm and cold. That's what it means. So, and also most important, if it's written that it offers Anmeldung. If it's not written, okay, you have to ask for it, because some flats are just being rented without Anmeldung, and then it has no use for you. You need a flat that can give you Anmeldung. Like, and most important thing about looking for flats, especially if you're looking for flats on Facebook groups, watch out for scams. They are very common, actually, unfortunately. And the main rule is, if it looks too good, it isn't real. If it's too good to be true, already like think it might be a scam. And never sign a contract or make any payments, like deposit or anything, without seeing the place, without meeting the person who's renting. Because these are very important steps in order to have a safe renting process. Because unfortunately, there are many people scamming students, mostly international students. They are very in need to find places, very desperate to get their Anmeldung done, and they're taking advantage. So please be safe on this, and watch out if you're looking for flats on this kind of places, mostly Facebook groups. It's where we hear mostly about scams. Do you have any question regarding flat searching, like apartment searching? Because then we're gonna go through Anmeldung properly. Everyone here already have a flat? Already set and safe? What? Sorry. Oh, okay. There are people here who are living in student residencies. Yeah, that is a very nice alternative for those who have lower budgets but want to live in a very safe place too. Here's a question. What does it mean by a flat that offers Anmeldung? So the owner of the flat, the person who is renting, needs to provide you this specific document that proves that you're living in this place. And then with this document, we're going to talk about this very soon. It's how you're going to get your Anmeldung. There are a few flats that don't offer you this document because they're like subletting, or they don't own the flat, or there are other people that are already registered in this flat and they cannot register other people. So you have to be 100% sure that the landlord, the landlady, the land person, the person who is renting you can give you this document. Because there are people that are just like randomly renting without this, and then it has no use for you. Yet, does it make sense for you? Do you have any other doubts? Is it clear for you? Chintan, you want to say something?
Yes. So my query is, I still haven't found the proper place to live. So currently, I'm just floating from one friend's room to the other friend's room. Like not really a friend, just some any free available place to sleep a night over. So my query was until I find a place. So you suggested some of the platforms where I can find some. So until I do so, how long is it allowed for before I absolutely need to complete my city registration process? So like my visa validity is for 6 months, but is there any deadline to the date from which you come into the city? You need to complete this process by then. Is there anything of that sort?
Yeah, we're going to talk about this right now, the whole process. And there's another question here too. Manish is asking, haven't arrived yet. How long can we stay in temporary accommodation, not offering registration? And then we're going to talk about this right now. If anyone knows about accommodation in Potsdam, Sripia is looking for, but most probably there are you can find like Facebook groups in Potsdam, and then you can try to talk to people that are offering Diggies. Diggies is the student residencies, like usually the places where students share flats. You can try, as Potsdam has a big university, maybe you can find Facebook groups of students that are offering flats. There are other questions here. If are they regarding flat specifically? You can ask if it's about the city registration itself. We can follow because I have more information to share.
There are two more people who are holding their hands.
Yes.
Vishal and...
Okay. Vishal?
Yes,
You want
Vishal
to ask,
here.
you want to ask
Yeah.
questions?
Yes, I need to ask that, for example, my university location is Berlin, and my visa is stamped according to Berlin city. Okay, and as our classes are online, and I'm not able to find accommodation in Berlin, so can I stay in a different city, and how the registration process will go? Like, in which city I have to do the registration? So that
You just need to register in whichever city you're living. It doesn't need to be the same city you're having classes on. If you're living in Germany, you have to register in the city you're living. So you just need to know which city it is and get in contact to the citizen the department that does city registration to get an appointment and go through it. But it doesn't matter if your university is in another city.
So for example, my relative are staying in Stuttgart and my college is in Berlin. So can I live in Stuttgart and do my online classes
Yes,
and register myself in Stuttgart?
exactly. You register yourself where you have your renting contract.
So the stamp on the visa where it is mentioned the city name, so that doesn't matter while registering.
You actually, of course, you're gonna have to explain this whole context, but it doesn't vinculate you to where you're getting your Anmeldung, because you can move around Germany. Like you just have to register if you have a visa, of course, a residence permit.
And how much days it is we should do the registration, like from the time we arrive in Germany?
Yeah, I'm gonna explain this now following with the whole Anmeldung process. Okay, because people really want to know. Okay, I think we're good to go. So talking a bit more about the city registration itself, just explaining it to you. So it means that all new residents in Germany, including German nationals, like every person that moves to Germany or moves around Germany, has to register their address within 2 weeks of moving into an apartment at the citizen center. So this is the rule. The rule is what is written in the law. You have 2 weeks from your arrival to not finish the process, but at least start it. Because finishing the process, it's another thing. It's on the citizen center on time. That might take a long time or might be super fast. But you have to enter the process, start the process within the 2 weeks you have arrived in Germany. Can you register, for example, I just moved, I haven't found like my dream flat, I'm still looking for it, but I got this temporary residency in which I can get Anmeldung. So this is very important. Can I register it? Yes, you can. For example, I have a friend who owns a flat and let me stay with him or her for as long as I can. And then this person is giving me an Anmeldung. You can register this and then you just have to re-register once you move to your permanent place. And these are the things you have to gather in order to sorry, these are the things. This is why city registration is important. Without a city registration, you can't have a bank account. There are some exceptions, but they're very rare. But in general, you can get a German bank account if you don't have an Anmeldung. Home internet connection, mobile phone contract. You can get prepaid phones without it, only with your password. But if you want a contract, like proper contract for a phone, you need to have it. The residence permit is itself, like it comes after the city registration, and your tax ID that is gonna be super important if you want to have a job in Germany. So that's why the city registration is like one of the first steps you have to worry about once you get here. And this is what you need to gather in order to have your city registration. So there's usually a form, you have to complete it and to sign it. And it depends from where you're living. You have to get a check with your Bürgeramt to see, okay, which is what is the form, what is asking. There are some forms that are completely in German. There are some forms that might have an English version. You have to check it because it changes a bit from city to city. You have to have your passport, of course, and then this is what you need from your landlord or landlord. You have to have this document that I was saying, the confirmation of moving in. The document the owner of the flat or the person who is renting to you have to issue for you to prove that you're moving there. And this is very, very important. So this is what you have to ask your landlord or landlady or land person to issue for you, and ask if they're able to. Otherwise, you cannot get the Anmeldung. Then you can have also in hand like your temporary visa or residence permit if you already have one, like a temporary one, and also other documents that might be important. If you're married, you have to show your marriage certificate, especially if your spouse is moving with you. If you have kids, if you're moving, if you're parents or something like this, you have to show all the documents. Usually, if you're moving with your family, only one city registration is enough. So in this case, but then you have to show all documentation of your family. But I don't know if anyone here is in this situation. So just take it into consideration if you are. And then what happens after you gather all these documents and you have to have an appointment set. So going through the website, usually you can set this appointment online, and then you have to show up and do it as soon as you can, because it's very sometimes it can be very hard to find one, and be very persistent too for that, and then take all the documents that I mentioned here and take them to this place that I told you, the Bürgeramt. And then it might be like this quick interview, no longer than 15 minutes. It can be in English, like mine was in English, but it's not a rule. So if you're not feeling comfortable, you can actually take someone with you, a friend that speaks German. There are people that you can hire sometimes to go with you if it's better for you. The thing is that German clerks, they are not obliged to speak in English in this kind of cases, because they have to guarantee that they are not going to be misunderstood, and the only way to do that is if they speak in German. So that's why sometimes they will not speak in English, but you can take your shot. If you are feeling comfortable with the language, you can try. It's not supposed to be something super complicated. They're not going to inquire you about your whole family history and things like this. But if you more sure, you can take someone with you. And yes, you might have to pay a fee. Most probably you're gonna have to pay a fee. Prepare to pay it in cash. It depends on the city. I think for Berlin is around Chitan. I don't know if you already done this. People who are in Berlin. I think for me, I've done it like a year ago. It was around 95 euros, something like this. For my renewal, that was this year. I've done an extension. Then it was 45 euros, something like this. So just be prepared to pay for it. Yes, not them. Yes, just be prepared, but it depends. It depends. Sometimes you don't need to. You have to go through the website of the city you are, the citizen center, and get to know all these details. Okay. So there are a few questions here. Errol, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think the registration is free if you do it within the first 2 weeks after you move in your flat. And if there's passed more time, like 3-4 weeks, you have to maybe pay a fee. I think that's a thing. I'm not 100% sure. It's a federal state, so it can vary from city to city,
yes,
from state to state. And I think every city has its own rules. So in some cities you may need more documents, or in some cities fewer, but it's better to have like everything with you, because if you need to make another appointment, it takes time. And in Berlin, it's pretty difficult to get an appointment at the Bürgeramt. So I think the rule is that you have to make the appointment within the first 2 weeks, and you normally will get a date like in the future, 1 month later or so. But you have to make it within the first 2 weeks. That's, I think, yeah.
Okay, Thank you, Erol. Yes, so just be prepared to pay if you need to, but also go through the information that are available, most probably about your city. What are the rules for your city? There's a question here. The 2 weeks limitation is from when I move into a long-term accommodation or not when I enter the country. When you enter the country, you have 2 weeks. So that's why it's like the first thing you have to get is a flat once you arrive here, because you have 2 weeks to enter Germany, find a flat, and register. That's how it can be a bit hectic, actually. Mangesh said he paid €100 for his registration in Kempten for the state of Bavaria. So nice to know that this information. Chetan, you have anything to add?
Hello. Yeah. So I have a query. Like, it is mentioned that it needs to be 2 weeks from the day you enter and find a place. So as I mentioned my case earlier, that I haven't found a place. I've been still searching and not been able to. So currently, I'm just moving from one place to the another for a temporary accommodation. And some of the places that I find, it's being sublet, and the people that we deal with, maybe most likely the students like ourselves who are moving to other places, and there's a free accommodation for that duration. So in cases where they strictly mention that no Anmeldung will be possible, you will just be able to pay the rent and stay at that place. So in such cases, how does it work? Like, what would be a best case to move forward?
Can you repeat the question itself? Like,
yeah. So to put it simply, so I will be staying at a place from next week where the student is being subletting his room. So there's no Anmeldung possible, that they won't be giving any documents. I can just stay at that place. I pay the rent and I stay at that place, but no document will be provided to me. So in that case, what do I do? Like, since the Anmeldung document needs to come from the owner. So what to be done in such cases?
yeah.
Is my
So
question clear?
yeah, I now understood it. So if you're staying there because you have nowhere to stay, okay, you stay there, but you have to look for a place that will give you Anmeldung as soon as you can, because there's no other way for you to get your city registration without this document. You'll have to find a place in which you can get it. So yeah, that's a very common case. Like when you go to just a place to stay for a while, and then all people are already registered, they cannot give you another document like this. So that's what you need to do. You can stay there for a while, but don't stop looking for a place that will give you this Anmeldung, the document that I told you, because that you need it as soon as you can. There's a question here about if we stay in temporary accommodation as hotels for first few weeks, so can we do a registration? No, you have to like Airbnb doesn't work, hotels don't work, so you have to have a place in which you can get this document. The hotels won't issue this document. You can stay there for a few days, but you have within 2 weeks you have to find a place that it can be a temporary place, but at least they have to give you that document that I told you. Hotels won't give you that document. During this pandemic time, do we also need to present vaccine certificate or COVID result at the Bugahan during the Meldung? This is not one of the documents they ask usually. You're gonna have to show this, of course, when entering Germany or attending to places, but usually they don't ask this specifically. It's not something that is on the list. They might change it, so keep an eye on it. Maybe we never know. They change rules like, but usually no. Like at least last time that I checked, that I went to the process very recently, they weren't asking for COVID results or vaccination certificates.
You'll maybe need to wear a mask entering the place.
Of course.
That will be the only thing probably, but I don't think, maybe you will even need a test, but I don't think so. I think it's only that you need to wear a mask while entering the building.
There's something here that is very popular. It's called 2G. Do you know it? It used to be 3G, but now it's only 2G because Errol, you're the half German one. Explain the G's.
It's 1G stands for geimpft, which means vaccinated, and the other G stands for genesen, which means healed. So it's mainly in restaurants and clubs or like places with close contact that you can only enter if you like vaccinated or had COVID and or in a period within 6 months after being healed. But I think in like places like the Bürgeramt, it's more probably 3G or like just mask rules, because it's like a place everybody needs to go, so they can't, I think at the moment, can't force you to be vaccinated to enter. So I think it's there shouldn't be
the
a problem.
G rules, they apply for places that you don't need to wear a mask, for example, inside of a restaurant or any other facility.
Clubs, fitness places, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's something nice for you to know as well, because you're gonna hear this a lot. Any other question about Anmeldung? People that had questions, did they get answer at any moment or way? Zayantan, you have a question? Raise your hand.
Yeah, one quick question that after taking an appointment, how long does it take to actually get the physical copy of the Anmeldung or the paper that we need?
For me, it was on the same day. It didn't take like I just had the interview and then they gave the paper to me. So usually, but this was in Berlin. So usually it doesn't take that long for Anmeldung. It takes longer for you to get the appointment. But after you're done, you already have the document itself, the Anmeldung document. Then you can go for a residence permit. Okay, so there's another thing that I want to talk to you about. I don't know if you're aware of this. It also goes on the Anmeldung process, as much as there's nothing to do with housing or living or anything, but it's something that will ask you. There's a church tax here in Germany, like religion tax. There are many taxes. You're gonna get to know about this, but this one in specific, it's based on self-declaration. So you have to declare your religion on the Anmeldung form, usually, especially if you want to join a religious community here in Germany. If you use facilities like go to churches and attend to masses or get married in church or something like this. Mostly if you're Catholic, Protestant, or Jewish, you have to declare and pay the church tax. For example, myself, I'm not any of these three, so I declared no religion. But if you want to practice your faith on one of these three, I guess it's only for these three, right? I'm not sure for Muslims or other religions like Hindus or anything. I don't think they have these taxes, but mostly for Catholics, Protestants, and Jewish, you have to, if you want to practice, of course, and join the community and use facilities, you have to declare. And then it comes monthly. If you are employed, it comes in your payroll. If not, the bill is gonna come. That's something that we learn here in German as well. The bills always come, and you have to pay for them at some point. So they're gonna find you if you declare it. So in doubt, many people don't declare their religion, but as I said, if you want to exercise your faith and join the community, this is something that you have to do. There are other questions here in the chat. If we are not able to find accommodation within 2 weeks, will there be a problem with registration later? And I said, I don't think so. They'll probably ask you why you haven't registered. And you can see you can find a flat, and it shouldn't be a problem. Yes, so this is the rule that they asked you, but mostly since like how things were last year, they were having more flexible, and I guess they still are more flexible about this. Of course, don't be like out of registration for 2 months or so unless you're in a very difficult situation, but they won't deport you like immediately if you don't register within 2 weeks. But this is something that you have to just keep an eye on, especially because it's hard to find an appointment too. So yeah, if some of you already have like at least temporary visas and this keeps you in the country more comfortable, I hope you have it. Like for example, in my case, I didn't need a visa. I could stay here until up to 3 months without registration if I wanted to. But it's good to have, not to take that long. They ask for 2 weeks. In the law is 2 weeks, but they are being more flexible for sure during COVID times, and because also they're working slowly. They're getting better now, but until last year it was like complicated. It took me like I got here in August. I finalized my residence permit by December, but it was last year. Things are better now, hopefully. Yeah, you already started asking questions. We have already still a few minutes. If you have anything else to ask, to add on, to, I don't know, share with the group too, this is the space. Mangesh, you want to ask something?
Yeah, so recently I received a letter from ARD-ZDF Deutschland Radio.
Oh, okay, yes.
Can you just, I mean, just throw some light on that? I mean, for the accommodation, I have already got the contract signed for 1 year, and it is including my electricity, internet bill, and as well as my heater. But after the foreign registration office, I have just received a letter last week to pay for that, and they told me that you have to submit it within 4 weeks, or else you have to pay again a hefty fine for that. So I don't know.
So nice that you asked. I was wondering if we should bring this here or not. So I'm gonna talk about this anyway. What Mangesh is telling you is about what we call the radio and TV tax. So it's one of the many taxes we have to pay here. And if you are in a household, you have to pay for it. It doesn't matter if you don't have a TV. For example, I don't have a TV at home. I still pay for it because they say, okay, but you can listen to the radio on your phone. You can do something like this. So you have to pay for it anyway. And as I told you, the bill will come. They're gonna find you, especially if you're just registered. They will know, okay, what you have to do is you have to find out if your landlord or landlady already pays for it, because if they do, you have to let the RD know that it's already being paid, because they don't count by house, they count by person, which is complicated, I know, but it's how it works. So we have to know, okay, we already paid this tax in this flat, so we don't have to pay it anymore. So we have to find out if it's already being paid by the landlord, or talk to your contractor, ask, okay, is this already included? Maybe it's already included and you don't know if it's not included. And if anyone else in the whole flat, are you sharing the flat, Mangesh?
No, it's basically a student Wohnheim. So we have a separate rooms, but I'm just, we have a shared, bathroom. So we just,
Okay. You have to get to know or to understand if this is included in the whole package. If not, you have to pay for it, unfortunately. And I know it's like 20 euros per month. It's not cheap actually.
Yeah, it's very expensive. because I just sent that letter to my landlady and she said every student's pay over here because in the state of Bavaria, nothing is free. So you have, even for the, for the student ticket, like you don't get like semester passes like NRW region. So besides registration, everything is, so being even a doctorate student, you have to pay for it. So that's why I was asking. And just to let you know, this is just the letter I received. If you can see it.
Yeah, the same I got. Exactly the same.
So,
Yeah. So it
very-
depends. For example, in my case, I live in a rented flat and it's on my renting agreement that I like it's already paid for it with the whole package. Like I pay for I pay the warm rent, including the tax. So what happens is that when the bill comes, I pay for it and I discount it on my rent. This is the agreement I have with my landlady. So that's why you have to talk to and find out how it works there. If you already pay for it, if not, if there's anyone paying for it already, if you're sharing a flat, for example.
Can you
Yeah.
do it? Can you do it directly through the bank? I mean, every month they have certain amount to deduct. So I can do it online, or I have to fill the form and do it to the Deutsche Post, or how is it?
You can fill out the form and then you can decide if you want to send it by yourself every month, or I think you can give them the to let them take it from your account. I think they take it like every three months
Yeah.
once,
Yeah.
like 55 euro or something. So you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's probably the best working company thing in Germany because they will always find you. So if you think I don't get the letter, I don't have to pay it, I would be careful because the letter will show up someday and they have the information like when you moved into your flat, and they will, I think, can take the money also from the past months. So it's, if you're staying long term in Germany, you can also apply by yourself on their website, fill out the form manually. And if you're staying for a longer time, I will do it because it's even more painful if you become it like 1 year later and have to pay it for 1 year in total.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's my question because they told me that the letter, if you do not do it within 4 weeks, they will get it the details from the foreign registration office and they will directly deduct it from my bank along with the hefty penalty if you did not pay it. So, and they will also send me a notice if you do not do it within 1 month. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm not sure if they can do this actually, because this is data sharing, which is something very sensitive here in German. Like they cannot like get your bank details with the foreign office. That's why you have to give them the it's called direct debit mandate, what Errol was explaining. Like this authorization for them to debit it. Then you provide the information. But the bill will come. That's the thing. And maybe some restrictions if you don't pay for it, that's it. But I don't think they can get your information from.
But that's really weird I am facing. I do not have a television, nor do I have, listen to radio. I just go to university
Doesn't
every time.
matter.
Doesn't
I-
matter. You could if you want, and that's enough for them to.
It doesn't matter.
And from my experience, you also have to pay it in student dorms. Like if you have your own room, I think it's enough for them to be able to charge you for that. So you can ask your Studentenwohnheim again if they have any information. But when I stayed in Munich in a student place, I had to pay it also.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's almost 10 euros a month, close to that. So
18 euro something a month, yes.
Shintan, you have a question?
Yes, I have one quick question and a feedback experience to share. So my question is regarding the Anmeldung. So assuming that I get my Anmeldung at one place, so when I move into a different place, do I need to re-register every time? Do I need to take a new appointment and then have an interview every single time?
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
That's how it works. And
So-
then when you leave Berlin as well, when you leave Germany, you have to deregister.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's another step in the future. If you leave the country at some point, it's important
All
to deregister.
right. I
Or
didn't
you're
know that.
gonna
Thanks
keep
for sharing.
receiving
Yeah. So
bills
my
for
question.
paying radio, TV,
Okay.
taxes.
All right. Okay. So my query has been addressed, and I just wanted to share a small feedback regarding the housing search. I see that many people are yet to come to Germany. So it was regarding my experience while I was searching for accommodation from my home country. So it is regarding that many people are there who are trying to get your money, trying to scam you out of your money. So just one of the things that I found was that a basic modus operandi for them is they message you if you post a requirement on your Facebook group, like I'm coming on this date, I am in search of a room. So they message you in your personal messaging, like, are you still looking for a place? I have a reference. So when you show interest and when you talk more, they are like, this is the photos of the room. And further discussion you can do with the owner. So they supposedly give you one another number and you're supposed to talk to that so-called owner. So after a discussion, they are like, okay, there are so many inquiries, and if you're in urgent need, you need to confirm the reservation, and the way you do it, you need to pay the deposit. So they ask you upfront to pay the deposit, and then they are like, I will send you the keys, or you can come here directly, and I will give it to you in person. And so to one of the ways, I was almost about to send the deposit to them. The only way I stopped myself was the person I was talking to, and the name on the bank account that he gave was different. So fortunately, I noticed that difference in the name, and I was able to save my money. In fact, my family's money. So that helped. So just a tip to guys who are searching, never pay in advance. And whenever someone messages you on Facebook, just have a look at their profile, like see if it's an old account, if there are other photographs from past, like if it is just one or two photos and if the account has been opened recently, so it's a high chance that it's a fake profile or something. And secondly, as you already covered, like don't pay in advance, always have a viewing. And all the professional guys out there, they ask like you view the apartment first, and only then we can discuss on the deposit and other terms and conditions. So this is just my feedback from what I have seen here, and almost lost my money. So that's that. Yeah.
That's very, very important, Chintan. Yeah, I'm sorry you had to pass through this. I get you completely because I've been through this chase as well. And it's desperately, right? Sometimes you're very anxious and you want to find a place to live. You know that your whole process of being like okay in Germany depends on it. And people will take advantage of this, which is super sad. And then you have to be prepared. Um, what worked for me, you cannot work for everybody, but what I've done, like I got already like from before I moved, I got already a place to stay temporarily, like friend's place. In my case, I was lucky enough to have family here, so I stayed with them. But just get like a very temporary place in which you can leave your things and then spend your next days actually searching for a place in which you can actually visit and see and get into direct contact to the owner or the person who is renting, because it's very easy to get into scams. It's not because we are stupid or anything. No, it's because they're actually putting effort on scamming people, students, which is sad and dangerous. Then please be careful about this. Sayatan, you have a question?
Yeah, I had a question, although it was not discussed in this presentation, but it was regarding racism. Like, how much racism is prevalent in Germany, especially in rural regions?
I didn't understand the question, sorry.
My question is, how much racism is prevalent in Germany?
Yeah, that's a tricky question. It exists for sure. It's a Western country, it's an European country with lots of migrants, and that actually open its doors institutionally for migrants, but not 100% culturally, for sure. So I can tell you won't face situations. I think it depends a lot where you're going to. Like some cities are more open-minded, other cities are more resistant to diversity. At least it's illegal here. In some countries, it's not, like, to be racist. This is the thing you can rely on, at least. But I've never faced anything because I'm phenotypically white, and as much as I'm Latin, people don't perceive me like this very easily. But I've heard of stories. It happens sometimes, mostly in public transportation or something. We cannot ignore that it actually exists. I cannot tell you how much all around Germany, because it's actually kind of a diverse country in many ways. But it's not something that it's like, it exists for sure.
Yeah, I hope you'll never like experience anything like that, especially like in the
Yes.
bigger cities like Munich and Berlin. They're very intercultural, so it's pretty they're pretty open-minded. But in rural areas, it could depend. But even if something like that happens, like feel always free to contact the police or something. They have special departments who are looking for stuff like that. And yeah, I hope for all of you that you will never experience something like that.
Yeah, and count on us with this too, because in the end of the day, our main goal is to provide like better experiences to international students. And this, in the end of the day, is one of our concerns, to have you feeling safe and welcomed in this country, much as we want to feel as well. Okay, guys, I think we reached our time now. So we started at 2:05. No, we're ending at 4:05, 2 hours exactly. I won't take you longer. I want to thank you for your engagement and your presence and your participation. So it's quite of a long meeting. We're gonna have other meetings on the following weeks. They will be shorter. We just wanted to do a 2-hour meeting because it was the first one. Next ones will last like 1 hour, and we're gonna cover other topics like financing your studies, getting a job in Germany. So if you haven't registered already, please do if you want to join us on next meetings. I'm gonna email you anyway with the links for registering if you haven't. And please keep in touch with us. You have our contacts already. Let me go here again. Our contacts. Here are our contacts and our beautiful pictures. No, you're not seeing it, right?
No, not yet.
Now, yes. Wait. Here are our contacts. You can reach us at any time. You're gonna hear from us soon. And we hope a few of you join Diggies too, so you can actually join an even nicer community and meet very, very cool people all around Germany. That's it. Thank you so much. Any final words? No?
Well,
Okay.
yeah, Carolina. So I just
Yes.
wanted to say thank you for providing the platform, and I understand that even this kind of thing is new for the team. Different. We are doing it for the first time. I understand. So it's a good effort, and it is proving to be very helpful, even if someone may not share it with you. But I need to tell you that it helps, and I hope that we keep on doing this for every semester batches that come in. So whether someone tells you or not, but it is helping. So please keep doing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for feedback. And if you have other feedbacks also for improving these spaces, we would like to hear a lot. You can email us at any moment. Okay? Okay, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a great week ahead. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.